Welcome to our first interview here on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. It's a big one. It's a young man who's made quite a name for himself in Section 5 and around the country, and we hope he's one of those young men we're going to be following all the way on to into the pros someday, maybe. His name is Vann McGee, and also joining us, East High School football coaches James Vann and Steve Flagler. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Vann, how are you, young man?
I'm doing good, man. Just doing good. Just staying in shape. Get ready for college.
So my first question is, I got to know about the name. I don't think anybody really nailed you down on the name. What's the story behind the name Seven? Do you have big Mickey Mantle fans and your Mike Vick fans in your family? What is it? Who is it?
Nah, man. It's just I was the baby growing up, so I was the last born, and I had 6 older sisters, so I was the last and only boy. So
okay, that makes a lot of sense. Welcome to the show. We know it's been a couple of years since you've played competitive football. What have you been doing to kind of stay sharp, stay in shape? I mean, you're a young man, so you can do whatever you want, eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want. But what do you do to stay in shape?
Really, I get on the field, do some drills. So I just been traveling a lot. Like I just came back from New York City. Got Coach Keith at a combine down there, New York City combine. It was good. I'm going to Oregon tomorrow to train with Keith Brown, my other fellow Oregon commit, to see what's going on and get some work in. So that's about it.
So, Seven, the Pac-12 season starts October 7th, so everything's kind of been delayed. But the trip to Oregon this weekend, and this is going to air on Saturday morning, what are you looking for out of this trip? And have you been out there before, and what's impressed you the most about the school?
I've been to Oregon. It's a great community, great coaches, and what Mario Cristobal and the Oregon staff has begun to do with the program in the last 3 to 4 years is crazy. Coming from being one of the worst programs in the Pac-12 to now being able to compete for a national title one day is very huge. Nick, recruiting behind Nick Saban and being in the SEC and playing in Miami and ACC, Mario Cristobal, he's done an extremely great job. And Oregon is just, it's nice. It's a great community for football, great place, great views, and just overall a nice place to go.
Well, let's ask one of your coaches here. Coach Vann, I want to make sure your microphone is on, but I want to ask you about this young man and what makes him so special as a competitor and as an athlete and a football player.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like last year, him not being able to play, and he came to practice and competed and made us better. And that speaks a lot. You know, most kids would just walk away, wouldn't want to compete and would say, forget this. But he did it every day at practice up until the last day. And you see he was like one of the leaders out there in the field. He would run out, you know, first as if he was playing. So, I mean, just those type of things and him being a good person overall just makes him Seven, you know.
So this fall has been odd for all of you. I know Coach Flagler said to me yesterday it's been the first fall in 27 years where he hasn't been involved in football. Coach, you said, I mean, we'd probably be getting ready talking about a sectional game right now. How have you been able to stay in contact with your team? I know the city school district is all remote right now. How have you all been able to stay connected through these crazy times that we're living in?
Well, you know, it has been tough, to be honest. We're not allowed to do anything as a team yet. The district hasn't approved that. So it's been tough. I mean, we have some kids in classes. We tried to stop by houses and drop things off, you know, drop the T-shirt off if you're interested. We did have a training program going in the spring and summer virtually. Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge, but, you know, we're doing everything we can. We see a lot of kids. There's a 7-on-7 league going on at Rhino Stadium that a lot of our kids are playing in, so we went and watched them play. It's tough. It's challenging, and it's not ideal, but, you know, it is what it is. We're struggling, but we got to be there for them, support them. We see a lot of them in class too, you know, virtually, so not really face to face, but yeah, we just got to, I think we got to model like tough times come. You gotta fight through it. Be ready when the time comes.
We're talking East High School football here. The Eagles runners-up last year to Canandaigua. 2 years before that, certainly a contender that came I think you surprised a lot of people, and I know you had high hopes, but lost to Irondequoit in the semis. Seven McGee, you're rated the 7th athlete in the class of 2021. And my old boss here, Steve, told me 144 overall in 2021. That's way low. 144. You're a game changer, young man. Do you buy into much of that stuff? Does that stuff motivate you, or how do you take that stuff as a young man?
I mean, in the beginning, when I was in 9th grade, obviously I was worried about rankings, but as going down the line, I mean, rankings, high school rankings, it is what it is at the end of the day. But when you get in college, there's no more rankings. You're a nobody. You have not made a play for the organization. You have not scored a college touchdown. You have not had one practice. You have not showed the coaches that you can compete and start on a college level yet. So at that point for me, like right now with rankings, probably going to college in March. That's when the real rankings happen. That's when the plan to further my future in football and hopefully one day get into the NFL happens right there in March. So, I mean, not too worried about rankings as of right now.
Good.
Seven, could you just go through that timeline, because everything with football is a little bit off, and spring football here is in March, and I know you're going out to Oregon. So what's your plan moving forward as you know it right this moment?
Did you not catch that one? Seven, what's the spring look like for you? Do you plan to go out to Oregon? Will you still be in Rochester? What's that look like for you? I'm wondering.
So I signed December 16th, and from that point on forward, honestly, just waiting.
All right, we got a bad connection with Seven, which is fine. So I'm going to kick it over to Coach Vann for a second. Coach Vann, give me your best Seven McGee story. Give me a story that you're going to tell 20 years from now about this kid on the field, off the field. What is it?
Spring, I'll be joining
Hang on a second.
the Oregon Ducks and officially being on campus in March. So that's the plan. I signed December 16th. So.
All right, that's great. Signed December 16th. James, Coach Vann, let's pick it up. You smiled when I said that question. What's your best story of Seven McGee?
Well, I mean, it's a funny. Well, hey, man. So 2 years ago, when Coach Flagler and I took over, it's a story that any coach would want. We just showed up to practice like normal camp, and next you know, we have this kid named Seven McGee who shows up. You know, and then like everyone's like, man, this guy's gonna be a game changer. Like, you guys got Seven McGee. I'm like, you know, I think news called us before we even found out. So you know that was, and then when you got the guy in the field, you're like, wow, he actually can do some things. I think one of the games where he had, the first game of the season kind of like set the tone there. And then the biggest part, man, at that part in time, even though he had 3 touchdowns, he's like, can you give everybody else the ball? So, you know, that right there was a team player. He only touched the ball 3 times, but he want all his teammates to get some work.
Coach Flagler, can you talk about the dynamic and the culture that you and Coach Vann have helped build at East with, even from the standpoint of having 2 co-coaches to being together for, you know, enough time where there's continuity and there's a real good feeling about this program coming through?
Yeah, you know, it's unorthodox for a lot of teams, but, you know, it really works for us. We support each other. We kind of have a lot of the same ideas, the same personalities. And we trust each other. I mean, I can't think of many disagreements we have had, and we talk about it in private and, you know, present it to the team. But yeah, I mean, we both have the same philosophies. You know, we want to help kids. That's why we do this. And we're willing to put in the work to help them get where they need to go. We support them throughout. You know, some of our kids have a lot of needs, and you know, that's why we do what we do. We try to help kids. We use football as a way to help kids get to the next level. So we both have the same philosophy there. And he's on the defensive side now. I'm on the offensive side. So.
Kevin, what's your favorite memory of being an East Eagle? I know that you're tight with a lot of the guys, not just at East, but around the city. But what's been your number one thing, and why did you come back to East last year? And what's your memory going to be, your biggest memory?
He froze.
All right, so let's.
The biggest memory for me would probably be
Well, I tell you what, guys, just because this is not live,
Good to
so
go?
let's do this. Yeah, hang on. 7, I'm going to put you in a waiting room. My producer can cut this all out. He can cut this up. So hang on one second. Let me move him around and see if it helps at all, because we got a choppy signal. 7, hang on. Let me try to bring him back in, see if that helps at all. Probably not, but who the heck knows? I hate looking at the kid's face without his lips moving here as he's talking.
It seemed like there was a delay.
Yeah. 7, can you hear us now?
Yeah, your PC mobile phone not working good.
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Oh, you can hear
better.
us? Okay,
no,
there he is. Okay. I can see the car's moving. So, all right. So Steve, my producer can fix this. So Steve's question was, what's your big memory of playing football here in Section 5? What are you going to think about when you think about it years from now?
Honestly, my biggest memory it's not going to be about me. My biggest memory for me it will be them not letting me play and me watching my teammates every week, practicing every week. The laughs, watching my former star teammate, Freddie Brock, and a couple other heads, just watching them compete at a very high level, even without me being in the field and almost winning the brick. That would be the most memorable thing for me coming out of East.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the news stories were saying about how this school that you'd gone to in California couldn't produce the right paperwork. And I mean, as a journalist, I can see both sides of it. And I know you're a young man, and it just stinks. It just stinks. And I know that had to be difficult. I can tell you though, it probably made you grow up a little faster than you wanted to. And they say what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. What did you learn from that whole situation, 7? Did it make it tougher at all, or I mean?
No. I've learned that you can have football one moment and it can be taken away from you just like that. So I mean, I just want to grant every time I get on the field or even touch a football, and just thank God and just for positions He put me in, and just every time I get on the field, give 110% because you never know when it can be taken away from you.
And that's the nature of the sport, really. It's not like a tennis player says, I could have an injury and get taken out of a match for the rest of my life. In football, it could end at any point. So in that way, it was kind of similar. Steve, go ahead. Steve Bradley.
Sure. Coach Vann and Coach Flagler, you've got a lot of playmakers coming back, and we've all got our fingers crossed that spring football in March in Section 5 means football and games. Talk about some of the returning players at East that, we've got Justice Ross Simmons, who was AGR last year, Mike Maxwell, Anthony Gilbert. So, some of those core guys that 7 had a chance to play with at East, and it really helped form the core of your team.
Steve, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'll go. So offensively, I'll talk about most of the offensive guys. We have our quarterback, Anthony Gilbert, coming back. He's a 3-year starter. Had a great – the sectional final game was the best game I've ever seen him play. So he's excited to get another crack at it. And our guys are motivated. This group was like our first group as coaches. A lot of these guys were up on varsity. So we got Yasir Daniel. Mike Maxwell actually moved, so he's not going to be with us this year. We have Justice coming back. We have Cam Sykes, who was like our H-back. Another great playmaker. We have a lot of good JV players coming up too. Todd Gillum, Quantel Green. But yeah, I mean, we were excited about this year. This was like the group. We made it step up every year so far. Semifinals, finals. We thought, so hopefully we still get our chance to take home a championship. But
Coach, we are excited about this year. It's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen, right?
Thank you. Right?
Just gotta wait a little longer. So let me ask you something, 7. When you're watching, what's your natural position? Is it DB? What's your natural position? Where do you think you're gonna play? Where will you play?
Probably
my natural position is football player, right?
Yeah, I'm really I'm a versatile player at the end of the day. I mean, not too many can do it all, like play defense, play offense. But if I had to say and pick one, it'd probably be the offensive side with slot or running back, one of the two.
Who do you like watching play on TV if it's Sundays or Saturdays? Is there a slot guy that you think, man, that's the guy I want to play like?
If I had to go with a slot, that's hard.
How about on the other side of the ball? You ever study what a cornerback does or a safety does?
Oh yeah, all day. Ed Reed or Troy Polamalu or Darrell Revis. Of course, looked at him.
That's old school. Troy Polamalu, he's not even playing anymore.
Yeah, looked at him, looking at old film. Also, another great playmaker that played in college. Carl Joseph, played for West Virginia, hard hitter. Looking at him a couple times when I was younger. But on the offensive side, probably I have to go with Jerry Rice, Derek Mason, Megatron, Terrell.
All right, so I'm picking up on something here. You seem like a pretty good student of this game for a long time, unless you're like 30 years old and we don't know it. I mean, those are old time players. Who was a big influence on you as a youngster in regard to the sport? Was there somebody that had you in front of the TV, or was that just you being in front of the TV?
Just me being in front of the TV, and just Ray Lewis was a main part of one of the reasons why I actually started playing football was because of Ray. Just his mentality for the game is just you would never get another linebacker like that. Him or Patrick Willis, two of the greatest linebackers of all time, and you would just never get a set of middle linebackers ever to play the game like that. I mean, the Ravens got another pickup with Patrick Queen, which is smart because I think he could be the next Ray Lewis. But that era of football for me was different because it actually was competitive. You can actually hit. And for me growing up watching Ray Lewis, it was like a dream come true. So that's why I'm also a huge fan of the Baltimore Ravens with him and Ed Reed, Derek Mason, you know what I'm saying? A couple of the great players that played, Todd Heap. Yeah, I know a little bit of my history. McAllister. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, wow.
Yes, sir.
Well,
The thing too, I've been watching football here since the late 1970s, and you're one of the most dynamic and exciting players I've ever seen on the field. And I'm so glad I went to see you play a couple years ago. And if I never get to see you play here again, I'll remember that, and I wish you well. And you're a guy that, I think everybody from Rochester is going to follow and wish good things for.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Pacific Northwest. The route to the NBA worked for Isaiah Stewart from Washington and McQuaid, and I think it's going to work for you if you keep doing what you're doing, young man. We wish you the best of luck. Coach Vann, thank you for making some time for us.
Thank you.
Coach Flagler from the Tri-Valley League back in the day in Central New York, where I grew up. Nice talking to you.
Thanks for having us, guys.
And Seven McGee, thank you for talking to us, young man. We wish you the best of luck at Oregon and beyond, all right?
Yes, sir, most definitely.
All right, that's East High School football. Our lead guest here on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. We'll take our first break, come back, talk more Section 5 sports right here on Fox Sports 1280.